guess what? He's not going to fucking stop him. Merab's going to fucking break him. He's going to be in his face from the beginning to the end. He better hope he lands a shot.
Best country, Georgia!
Let's go,
This was his big mistake.
Fight for Georgia.
მოგესალმებით ყველას. Fight Hop is back. ამჟამად ინგლისური ეპიზოდი იქნება, რახან ჩვენ გვეყოლება ლეგენდარული სტუმარი დღეს. Yes, the one and only Romy. Who is it?
დღეს გვეყოლება UFC-ს ყოფილი მსოფლიო ჩემპიონი, UFC-ს დიდების დარბაზში შეყვანილი ადამიანი, ერთადერთი ადამიანი, ვისაც ნოკაუტით აქვს მოგებული GSP-ისთვის, ლეგენდარული ყველა დროის საუკეთესო welterweight-ისთვის. და ჩვენთვის, ქართველებისთვის, მერაბ დვალიშვილის ერთ-ერთი მწვრთნელი, Serra. ძალიან გვიხარია, ძალიან აღთხოვანებულები ვართ, სიმართლე გითხრა. არ მგონია ალჯოს გარდა და იმ ინტერვიუების გარდა ალჯომ ჩაწერა მერაბთან ერთად როცა იყო თბილისში ჩასული, არ მგონია UFC-ს ქამრის მფლობელი, როდესაც ყოფილიყო სადმე ქართულ MMA სივრცეში, ხო? და რავი, ძალიან დიდი პატივია ჩვენთვის და მართლა გვიხარია ძალიან.
და იმედი გვაქვს, რომ თქვენც ისიამოვნებთ დღევანდელი ეპიზოდისთვის. დიდი პატივია ჩვენთვის to have the Hall of Famer Matt the Terra Serra.
Welcome to New York, New York.
How do I do this?
Longo's, don't please. Longo's a fucking disaster. Don't. We can start attacking Longo in a second. Are you guys in Georgia right now?
No, I'm in Brooklyn out here, right. Yeah. And this guy over here. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. And this guy over here is in China.
You're in fucking China?
Yeah. With made in China Merab shirt. Yes, sir.
Oh, I want one of those.
We will get you one.
You out for sure.
Am I too shiny or no?
No. You
look great, Matt. And I feel like I'm on UFC Unfiltered right now. You
know,
with
that
your
is background. I only got one background, and that's it.
Coach, let me tell the youngsters who just started watching MMA real quick who this guy is, who this man is. First of all, we are honored for you to join us. This means everything to us. Absolutely. I mean, you have no idea how pumped we've been the whole week. You know, ever since we found out you're gonna come on, and I just want to tell the new viewers, our viewers, everybody around the world who's gonna watch the show. Yes. We have met the Terra Serra today on our show. He was so kind to join us. The UFC Hall of Famer, the UFC champion, the only man who has knocked out GSP, and the list goes on and on and on. And we can talk about your accolades all day, but simply our friend, Merab's friend. For Georgians, you're Matt Serra, Merab's coach. So thank you again, coach. How's the family? How are you?
Everybody's good. Everybody's training. I was at my school today. I just followed you guys on the Fight Hop podcast. I'm following you now. I'm following.
Thank you.
Like a damn stalker. So
we just moved up.
Man, shoot. Slowly but surely, I'm with you guys. So you guys are friends with Merab? Who knows Merab?
Yes. We met through Merab.
Cousin. You look like you could be his cousin. I swear to God.
We actually met.
Me or him?
We actually met through Merab because I live in China and Romy lives in New York. And Merab was the one who introduced us. So, we started the first ever, I believe it's the first ever Georgian MMA podcast.
Let me ask you, what is in the water in Georgia? Because everybody's so damn nice over there. That's the only reason I'm doing this thing. Every Georgian I met is a freaking nice, I mean, super nice. Like, and genuinely nice, not a fake nice. And I'm like, what is going on? I gotta go there. I gotta bring my family there. I told Merab.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Longo, because he asked us the same question. I told him, this is honest, as honest I can be about it. It's because of probably how much we have suffered throughout the history. I think that's the whole thing. We've suffered so much that we just want to be nice, to people.
I mean, listen, not to hijack your interview, but this fight coming up with with Merab versus Yan. There's a lot on that, isn't there?
Yes.
A lot
yes,
deeper than
yes.
just an MMA match, isn't it? In some ways.
No, it's a lot more than that, and I can stress it enough to how to. I don't even know how to express how much this means, and without putting any extra pressure on Merab. I think he feels the most pressure right now, but he can handle it. We know he can handle it, and we also try not to over like tax this thing with the motions. So because we don't want to pressure our boy more than he has to be. You know
Of
what
course. I mean? Listen,
Yeah.
fighting is pressure, though. That's what it is.
Yeah,
no.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
I learned that early from Master Henzo Gracie. So fighting is pressure. If they put more pressure on you, I mean, you walk in that cage. The fact that you're walking into a cage with another highly skilled athlete that's looking to do damage to you, that's pressure enough. Now, with the history with Russia and Georgia and everything, I talked to Merab about that. About there's always the what ifs. Well, what if something goes wrong? What if it goes right and they're building a statue of you in fucking Georgia right now? That's what's gonna happen.
That's what's probably
what's gonna happen.
Coach. Amen, coach.
5 rounds with the machine. He better hope he hurts him early because Merab doesn't stop. Merab does not stop. It's like a rabid pit bull.
I remember when I first heard you talk about Merab, and this was probably not the first time you ever talked about him, but that was the first time I heard you talk about him. You said this exact words. You said if Terminator was short and Georgian, he would be called Merab. I remember that. It was years ago, but I remember that.
He doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop. And I don't know. I mean, this endurance, I don't know if it's from that stream back home when he's swimming up in that. I don't know what it is, but he has endurance for days. And I'm going to say I've never seen anything like it, And he's all natural, He's just a guy. He just loves to train. He doesn't have any bad habits. He doesn't go out
unless you look at his trip to Jamaica. Now we're seeing more of that personality coming out. We know what his hobbies are now, right, Coach?
Well, they do call him the machine.
Yeah.
So I mean, what happens in Jamaica stays there. I heard. But all I know is I told Aljo, dude, next time he goes with you to Jamaica, don't let the guy. Jamaica's not a place you want to go jogging around at fucking nighttime. What are you? He's crazy, this kid.
Yeah.
And Aljo goes, no, man, we told him. And then he ran to some local people. They're like, you should go back. What can you do?
When was the last time you talked to him?
Oh, I talked to him once this fight was announced.
I want to ask you real quick before I forget, and then I want to ask you about you a couple of questions. And my boy here does have a few questions around Merab, but I want to ask you this. You know that front choke that he does?
The front choke?
The front choke. Now he
like
when he jumps on the guy from the side control, you know that choke?
Yeah. Like a judo, like an old school judo lock.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do know it.
Do you approve of that choke? That's what I want to know.
Did you talk to Merab about this?
No, I haven't. No.
Listen, this is the deal with that choke. I hate it. Now look.
Yeah.
Wait. We got to wait now because look, it shouldn't work because it could work. And I've seen him. I'm not going to mention names, but in my school, we've got guys coming through all the time that are world-class submission grapplers in his weight. Like in his weight, they might not ever take a punch in their life, but these are the guys that are going out winning the EBIs and this and that and high-level jiu-jitsu guys. I've seen Merab tap out that guy and guys like that of that caliber with that fucking choke. It's more of like a crime. It feels like the head's gonna pop off, So the reason why I don't like it is because if you lose it, the guy's on your back. So if you lose it, the guy's on your back. I like to be side control with an underhook. But my thing is, he's so effective at it that it's like, dude, every time he gets any class, he looks at me. I go, I can't hate on you. I want to say that shit because I told him before that shit. Get rid of it. And then he gets a lot of guys with it. And when he does, he looks at me and he kind of laughs. I go, all right, you little bastard. Good. I'm happy. I don't want it to work, but it's working. So fucking, I can't listen. He's good at that fucking move. So in jiu-jitsu and in grappling in general, there's never. Like in other words, if people say never do this, some unorthodox moves that don't work for most or it could work for some, and it could work very effective for some. And that's one of those moves. So that's funny you asked that, because if you ask that to Rob, does Matt like that? He'll laugh, because I hate it, but yet he always gets it off, and he's not getting it off on lemons. He's getting it off on good guys. So fuck, if it ain't broke, you know.
And he just had a grappling match, and he actually won with that.
He finished.
He just had a grappling match, and he actually won with that.
Is that what he won with?
Yeah. That's it. It was like a couple of days ago. Well, maybe a few days ago, right?
Merab?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
It wasn't Fury, I think, but yeah, he just had a grappling match.
Why is he having a grappling match when he's got a fight coming up?
Because he's a maniac.
Yeah, he's also jumping into ice lakes and shit. I got you. He won with that. That's so. Listen, I'm not. How about this? I'm not surprised. You know.
Yeah, me neither.
You know.
I heard Cesar Gracie talk about jiu-jitsu one time, and he said he was talking about Nick Diaz, and he said he loved to come here instead of school, because in school they were telling him, you got to do this way or you're gonna fail. And in jiu-jitsu, I was telling him, you can do it whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can choose your own way, and that's the beauty of martial arts, right? I mean, that's as true as it can be.
100%, 100%. And you shouldn't just have one way and not the other way. If this is the way I'm teaching you learn that way. That's no. I listen. I got a white belt mentality. I'm at my school. Shit. Yesterday I taught 3 times. I taught the 7 a.m. Took a little nap in my lounge. I did the noon class. Came back. I got my 3 daughters training. Watched the kids class, and then I put one big class at night. Dude, I'm on the mats a lot, and I'm constantly still learning things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, some of this new entries with the fucking double troubles and the leg locks, cool shit. But even just, you know, whether it's the body triangle escape with the hand assist method, I love it all. And I'm constantly adding to my arsenal. But, you know, I just love jiu-jitsu. That's my retirement, basically. That's what I do.
Like when it comes to Georgian MMA, I would say that Jiu-Jitsu isn't our strongest base, right? I mean, if you look at all the Georgian,
well, we're getting there.
Yeah, wrestling. Wrestling. Sure, yeah, wrestling. We have like Georgian Chidaoba, which is like traditional Georgian wrestling.
With the gi.
With the gi.
Yeah, with like a judo, with a judo gi and shorts. And but I was just gonna say, like, recently you had Roman Dolidze on your show as well, Unfiltered, right? And we were saying, we were saying that, you know, like when it comes to Georgians, BJJ may not be our strongest point, but Coach, how would you rate like that calf slicer finish? It was ground and pound, but that lockup that he did to Hermanson.
Who was Roman fighting again?
Jack Hermanson.
Oh, that's what listen. Sometimes it's not the submission they pull off; it's who they pulled it off on. And Jack Hermanson, he's very good in grappling, very good in jiu-jitsu. A high level. He's got some nice finishes, man. I seen him when he went with Jacare, and I still don't know how Jacare got out of that choke he was in. But for Roman to do that to him the way he did, and not only that, and then call out somebody that nobody wants to fight in Khamzat, man, I was super impressed. And again,
Coach, you defeated a Khamzat in your early career, isn't that right?
And it's funny, I did fight a Khamzat. A Russian Khamzat. That was my 3rd MMA fight. And it was hard for me to find quality opponents in the late 90s, but he was actually good. He was tough. If you ever see that fight, it was on YouTube somewhere. And you got Frank Shamrock doing the commentary. I was 23 years old. I was a purple belt. And that Khamzat was a Russian Sambo instructor in the army or something. But he was good. He wizarded me down. I got him in an arm lock. I popped his arm. Did you see
You got him from the bottom, right, Coach?
I popped his elbow, but he got out of it. And then I like pendulum swept him to his back and I strangled him. But he was one of my first guys I fought that was actually a legit guy. Because sometimes they get big guys in the snap, but they just knew nothing on the floor, you know? So that guy was actually pretty tough.
Coach, we're talking about jiu-jitsu, and then back to you, George.
Nice, good.
I've been watching and training mixed martial arts since 2005. You started like years before that. You were like one of the OGs. And back in those days when I started watching, jiu-jitsu was like a key point. Everybody had to be good at it because the best guys at jiu-jitsu and wrestling were the champions all the time. Now the stage is flipping a little bit because the guys who are strikers, they know how to defend the takedown. They know how to defend the wall against the wall. They know how to defend the grappling. And then they stand, they make the fight to go standing up and they light guys up. Now, well, what do I say? How do I say this? How important do you still think that jiu-jitsu, how primarily important do you think jiu-jitsu is still in MMA?
Oh, I mean, if you do not, this is the thing. Yes, people had to get well-rounded to deal with it. So it's not like the UFC #1. Like in the early UFCs when, hey, man, you could throw me in there with fucking how many guys that are skilled with whatever. If they don't know fucking anything on the floor, most likely I'm smoking them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in the early days, you're literally fighting a bunch of white belts on the floor of jiu-jitsu. I mean, they just didn't know anything. So you could literally just go to guard and they're just leaving their arms in your face and you can arm lock them. So it's like, it's funny. But nowadays, you got to look at it like this. Yes, everybody with the strikers, they caught on and they started implementing the jiu-jitsu. It's not just about learning a sprawl. I'm going to say everybody in the UFC should be at least a blue belt level, at least. Should be higher. But even the best, even those kickboxers, a lot of the guys in there, like Israel Adesanya, if you ever see him on the floor, he's moving. He knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So it's not like, it's not like it's just a purist. You can't. I like guys that are super skilled in one area, whether it's Ben Askren with his wrestling, Damian Maia with his jiu-jitsu, trying to think of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson with his karate. I love guys that are a master at a certain discipline. And maybe not as well in the other areas, but just a master in one. And to answer your question, if somebody didn't know any jiu-jitsu and just worked on a sprawl, I mean, they're not going to go far in the UFC.
Yeah.
You need jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is as important as ever. Will you take everybody down and fucking rear naked choke them? Probably not. But let me tell you, even in the fights where I lost and this and that, my jiu-jitsu served me. I never had to tap. I never had to say uncle. You know what I mean? Carol Parisian's a judo player. I got one of the worst times, like this fight, I got tired.
Round one.
What a
that fight should have been done in round one.
Now listen, that guy didn't get a throw on me when I was fresh. I felt I was taking it all away. You get tired, it's a different story. Now, for whatever reason, I got tired. Now, I last round going into that third round, when I mean I had zero in the tank. I had Longo asking me if he wanted, because the guy, one of the doctors came in, hey man, are you good to go? Because I took some shots. And Longo was like, should I do something? I told him I was going to hit him with a stool. I'm not ending the fight. So I went out there, I got dominated that last round. But what I also did was I got to show my escape from a rear naked choke by a high-level player. I got to show a dead to right arm lock, totally straightened out. And I got to show a money escape. And then if I didn't have that escape, that's a broken arm or me saying uncle, me saying tapping out. So, my jiu-jitsu served me where even if I lost the fight, I never got put in a position. Now, I don't want to ever be held down and make free. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's what I love about jiu-jitsu. And I'll tell you what else. I got done fighting, I'm 37. I'm 48 now. It was 11 years ago. Or 36 was my last fight. I haven't sparred with my hands, legs. I've hit some mitts here and there. But I never took another punch since. I never sparred since. But I'll tell you right now, I'm taking limbs fucking 5 days out of the week. You know what I mean? So, and I could do that and not get any stupider. You know what I mean? I can actually get smarter. Like my jiu-jitsu is, I can stay deadly. I can stay dangerous and not, lose any more brain cells. So I love jiu-jitsu, man. I could talk about that forever. How old is he? 6, 5? What was that?
6. He's gonna be 7 in a week.
Not bad, huh? I can see. Yeah. I got 3 daughters, so I can.
I know. God bless you, coach. I've seen you. I've seen you from the side with your daughters. I've seen you interact with people. Yes. That's the craziest thing about you, though. It just hit me. You're such a nice guy, but everywhere you go, the trouble follows you. What's up with that?
Hey, man, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. Lately, the last thing that happened to me, I was in Universal Studios.
I love that story. The toilet story. I know that story, man. That cracked me
come
up.
on, man. And know what's funny about this? I got out of that stall and I started recording, like venting, and then my phone shut off. So I couldn't finish it. So I'm like, so I put a thing on the end. If anybody wants to hear the rest of this story, go to UFC. My producers hit me up and they're like, yo, that was genius. We got how many new subscribers and this and that. Meanwhile, I was just venting because this fat fuck, excuse me, you got kids around, sorry. This moron I was in a stall. To make the long story short, I don't know, did you hear the story, Roman?
Yes.
You did. You
did.
You
heard the story.
Yeah.
Yes, right, well, of course. We follow you everywhere, Coach. Come on. You and Longo.
I can't assume. Long story short, I was but I mean, this is what I'm thinking. Who in their right mind would take that? I'm in a stall using the bathroom. Mind you, I have some colitis. I have stomach issues. Ulcerative colitis.
We know that too.
Not a good thing. You guys know about me.
I've seen you, Doc.
In case your audience didn't hear this,
I'm going to let them stalkers.
So I'm in this stall, and this guy, they're knocking on the door. The guys who clean the bathroom, and this is at Universal Studios, and I let them know at first, like anybody, occupied, twice, and each time between each minute, like each time was like a minute in between. Then again. I go, obviously I'm not done. I see fingers come over the stall. I have to clean the stall.
Oh my God.
How about when I'm done I'm cleaning this up with this kid. Sir.
No, he can't hear us.
Okay. Sir, you can't curse. This kid's here. Oh, really? How about you get the fuck away from the stall, jerk off? That's what I say. I mean, you got to be kidding me. So now listen, if that's not enough, all of a sudden, I hear him going, oh, no, you can't use this stall. This guy's in here for 25 minutes. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. I'm livid, man. I'm trying to control myself. I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm like, oh, dude, this can't be happening. I go, look, keep that same energy when I'm done in here, buddy. All right? I kick open that thing like a cowboy in a saloon. Boom. Who's got the jokes? Who's got the jokes about the 25 minutes? And this little fat thing comes out from behind a thing. And I'm like, hey, man. I go, what you got to say? He said, you can't curse. So he started going that route. He's going to call security. Long story short, security recognized me. They were nice. And when I was talking to security, this big giant of a man comes over and he's with his family. And he's like, Matt Serra. He was a fan. Well, he watched the fights. Tried to put me in a choke. And I'm talking to him like, oh, hey. Excuse me, I got to explain to security that I'm not an a-hole. So then the security, they knew. And I could have, listen, man, shit's harassment, man. I could have cost that guy his job. But it's funny, though, because I got like the last time I checked, it was like 992,000 views on that effing thing. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. But to answer your question, you guys seem like nice guys. If you're in that stall, I don't know, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do if you're me? You're not going to be like, hey, dude,
I think when he puts the hand over, you after you wipe, you hand it over to him.
That would have been good. God forbid he throws it back, though. I can't. But anyway, it was one of those things where I'm like, dude, how does this happen to me all the time? Dana makes fun of me. Dana White. He's just like, I go, Dana. I go, is it me? He goes, yeah, it's you. I go, it's not me. It's me. I don't know.
I'm enjoying myself here, George. So you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm mentioning Dana. Right. Thank you so much, Matt. That this is a huge honor once again. Like talking to you right now, it means the world to us, for real. And mentioning Dana, I will never forget Looking for a Fight New York episode. Ring of Combat. I will never forget that. And it was actually ever since then.
New Jersey episode, just to make sure we got it right.
All right. Yeah. But you guys were in
you want to go back and look for it. Yeah.
Eating pizzas and stuff, right? You guys were eating pizzas in New York first, right?
There was one in New York where we ate pizzas. I don't want to, and we did the Rockettes.
Yeah, that was the same episode, Coach. I've seen that like 100 times.
Hey,
that is
you know better than me. You might be right, dude. I did like 20 of those shows, and Coach, they were fun. Dana
that
White,
show lifts
your
me
audience, if anybody had never seen it, Dana White looking for a fight on YouTube. That's a fun That's a fun gig, man.
That's a fun show, yeah.
Yeah, man. But you were gonna say about that episode, Merab?
Yeah. I was gonna say that, like, Georgians, we're a fighting nation, right? We have a long history in, like, Olympics, in combat sport. I guess if you can call wrestling and judo, it is a combat sport, you could say, right? But like, not having a single seat in the UFC until 2015. Wow. Can you imagine? Like,
so wait, Merab was the first guy?
No, Merab was the second guy. The second guy.
Right. Okay.
By the way, shout out to the first ever Georgian UFC fighter, Levan Makashvili, who was also based in New York. He's in Georgia now. He was the first one. He actually fought Damon Jackson, who Ilya Topuria finished with some vicious punches in round 1.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I forgot what I was saying. Right. Yeah. Watching that episode, Matt, and hearing you say Merab, that just lifts me up, man. I mean, every time I watch that, I feel like I'm a kid watching The Lion King. You know, I tear up, man. I feel so much energy and love, like, to finally have that recognition and that love. And you gave us that platform, that opportunity, you know, for Merab to get in there and do his thing. And for that, I am forever grateful, man. And ever since then, I've been your diehard fan, and I'm gonna be for the rest of my life.
Thank you. The credit is really all due to Merab. I mean, let me tell you, we went there. We went from Alaska, and then took that Dana's whoever's jet that wasn't mine. We went back to New York, New Jersey, New York, and that was a back-to-back episode. And Merab, they were there to watch Merab's. Dana was like, "Look, I'm watching this guy." And Stout, I think. What is it?
Stouts.
Rafeon Stouts.
And he goes, he's like, "This is a Duke Rufus guy. I'm watching him." I go, "Well, he's fighting my guy." I go, "That's good because you're gonna have eyes on Merab." And I go, "Merab's a beast," and he's telling me how good this other kid's supposed to be. So for Merab to take him out in seconds with that back fist was just. And again, we've seen Merab's journey, like in the MMA, where it wasn't just there was some hurdles he had to get over, and whenever there was a step back, he just dug in deep, and he took 2 steps forward, and everybody, all our team, everybody loves each other, but I'm going to say it's easy to say I think Merab is the most loved dude on the team. He's the heart of the team. He is a guy, if there's any kind of friction. Merab is just a guy, he'll have a fight coming up, and like I'll go, like for instance, I'll go to watch them warm up or something, and I needed a charger. Where's Merab? He disappears, comes back with a charger. I go, "Dude, what are you doing? You got to fight." He's very thoughtless. He thinks puts everybody like before himself. So he's just such a genuine, great guy. Everybody.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that, coach, because I can tell you a quick story. I show up at the gym and I'm asking Lango, "Is Merab there?" He goes like, "Yeah, he's been here like 10 hours. He's been sweating like crazy all day." I go in there, Merab is sweating he's a mess. I'm like, "Hey dude, you came in so late today." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I know." I was like, "Let me go change it and we can roll a little bit." I'm like, this fucking guy. He was like, I mean, I'm nobody. He doesn't have to do that for me, but he just went in the back, changed the shirt, came back and rolled with me. It was crazy.
He's just a nice guy. There's times I'd be with him and we'd be away, and there's like guys at UFC. I think he's got his antennas up now. There'd be guys like, "Oh, Merab, hey, I got this new thing. Hey, take a picture with this," and they're having him hold some kind of. I go, "Merab, these guys are trying to fucking it. Don't be holding up no fucking t-shirts for these motherfuckers." I go, "You're too nice." I go, "They're trying to make money off you. Get paid for that shit." I go, I'm always have to step in to be like, "Merab, there's being nice, and then there's helping this jerk off. Who's this guy?" Anyway, I love Merab.
We know, coach. By the way, I want to say something. Coach, how you always go into a fight and you have this plan in your head. This is what I'm gonna do. This is where I'm gonna jab. I'm gonna cross, and you have this plan, and then you go in there, and the fight goes completely different. It's a different fight than what you've imagined. This is exactly what's going on right now. This interview is so much better than I planned in my head. Over and over.
I'm having fun.
Me too, man.
What else you guys want to know?
Coach, listen, I can't end the interview without your favorite question, which is, what else do you do apart from, every time you guys have guests on Unfiltered, you always talk about fights, but your favorite question I noticed is like the other side of a person.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are they into? And I know that, you are a huge VR player on the Quest and you murk guys. And I know you love your Netflix. By the way, one of my favorite shows, thanks to you, is The Mandalorian, and the new season is gonna come out. And I was never a Star Wars fan, so I would just have ignored that, right? Yeah. Lately, Romy and I have been watching Yellowstone. That's pretty good. And have you seen, Coach? Have you seen The Last of Us? It just came out.
Yes, I did. I'm up on that too. Now, Mandalorian, love it. You have to check out Andor. Andor is very adult for Star Wars. Kids will be like, it's a little talky, but it reminds you more of Blade Runner. It's very edgy. It's kind of like Rogue One. It's like it's the players from that movie. So good. Check out Andor. The Last of Us, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
Love it.
I watched the second episode. And it was something else. I'm enjoying it. I'm not familiar with the video game of that.
Yeah, I know you don't play the PlayStation. You're on your VR, right? So,
dude, I was literally on before I got on here, and I'm gonna go on after too. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I got a house full of women. Go ahead.
You know that story I told you about when we was texting? Do you remember that guy, right? The one I told you about, Anthony Akavam. You remember that guy?
Anthony who?
I told you, Anthony Akavam, your classmate.
Anthony, classmate in Jiu Jitsu and
no, in high school. This guy lives right next to your house, right next to your academy in Huntington. And
what about him? I don't know.
I texted you a story. I picked him up once. I was 4 or 5 years ago. I was working Uber.
Okay.
And I gave him a ride to your academy. I was like, "Do you know Matt Serra? Do you know where he lived?" And he goes, "Yeah, he was my classmate. This and that." We got into it talking. I was like, "You gotta start taking jiu-jitsu." Nice guy. He gave me like $50 tip or something crazy like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I like him already just on that. I give you a nice
Anthony Akavam, I think his last name.
I know an Akavone. I don't know.
Maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the one.
He lives in a very nice house next to your academy in Huntington.
Oh shit, man! Well, tell him to join up.
Yeah, I did.
That's funny, man. Yeah, man. No, I'm not too familiar with that guy. But by the way, the Yellowstone, he seems like a nice guy. I probably know him if I seen him. Yellowstone, I watched 1883. I binged that.
Me too.
That's awesome.
I just started it.
I'm on the other one. That's Harrison Ford one.
Yeah, that's the 19, right? That's the 19.
They're all good, man.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'm slowly but surely getting through the first season of the other one, because there's certain shows that I have to watch with my wife, because otherwise I get in trouble. So
shout out to the missus. And congrats. She had her kickboxing debut, right?
Yeah. And now she's doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, man. She's probably gonna do some competitions with that.
Coach, I don't want to cut you off, Coach. I'm so sorry, because it's gonna cut off by itself, right?
Shit.
So we got like 3 minutes, and the one final question for the diehard MMA fans, who are the Georgian fans who are waiting for this bout between Merab and Peter Yan. Coach, when it came to fighting Jose Aldo, Merab couldn't take down Aldo, but he still got the victory, right?
Yes.
Through like position and control, right? Even in standing. But Coach, how do you see this fight between Peter Yan? Do you think Merab will have success taking him down? And
I'll tell you now. Yeah, I got you. I might be chatty. This is the deal. People gave Merab some shit, and Dana did too, about that fight with the great Jose Aldo. Yeah. That is some bullshit, because listen to me. That guy is out of everybody in the division. I know he's retired now. That is the guy who was the hardest fight for Merab, because his takedown defense is uncanny. Look at Jose Aldo's takedown defense. The only time somebody gets on top of him is when they beat him down, like Max Holloway. They beat him up and then they get on top from punches. Nobody's taking that fucking guy down. Show me somebody taking. Look at Chad Mendes on him. How'd that work out? Listen,
No,
he's a beast, and that was the hardest guy. That was the hardest test. And Merab, in my mind, passed with flying colors. I don't care who says anything different. Now, look, you can say what you want. What do you want him to do? I remember that night, even Dana was like, oh, it wasn't, he didn't like do favors for himself. Hey, listen, man, what do you want him to do? We'll do Thai boxing with one of the best Thai boxers? Merab fights the way he fights. It's your job to try to stop him. It's Peter Yan's job to try to stop him. Guess what? He's not going to fucking stop him. Merab's going to fucking break him. He's going to be in his face from the beginning to the end. He better hope he lands a shot. Otherwise, it's a fucking horrible night for Peter Yan. Merab's going to fucking torture him. He's going to bring him in those deep waters, and he's going to beat the shit out of him.
Coach, we love you. Thank you for this.
Guys, thank you so much.
Nah, you kidding me?
Thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome back. Thank you.
We'll do it again soon.
Amen, Coach.
Thank you.
Big
Thank you,
love.
guys.
Big love, Coach.